the sweat and the fatigue and and that feeling of being so happy while doing it. So for me, it was a challenge, but also the fun part. And I spent 4 months training like 3 times a week for, I don't know, many hours. So I was pretty much ready when I came to shoot.
Hi, Shahbaz.
Hi, Gina. Hi, Matilda. How are you both doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Movie Podcast.
Where in Canada are you? I know you have very limited time, but I'm always curious. Where are you?
No, I appreciate it. I'm in Toronto, actually.
Great. I love it.
You know, it's actually interesting. I got to be in London last year during the premiere of Citadel. And
We were there.
I believe you were there, yes. And I got to see you guys walk on the carpet. It was a very, very cool experience. And it was very exciting to know that the world of Citadel was going to keep expanding even before we got that first show, because there was this promise behind it. And I have to know, you know, when you're making these different shows and you're making something like Citadel Diana, how do you want to make it stand out but still kind of feel connected to the world of Citadel?
You know, the parameters were interesting because we knew we were part of the world of Citadel, but our mission and what we were asked to do was to create shows that were completely independent of each other, that were standalone narratives, that the only thing that necessarily connected them were the fact that they were set in a world where there were 2 rival spy agencies sort of vying for power. And so when you have that much latitude to sort of come in with your take to be part of this world, it's such an exciting process. And so for us, that process was, how do we flip the tables? How do we show audiences something that was not explored as deeply in the US show? And so for us, it was, let's take a deep dive into Manticore. What is Manticore? But stay true to this bigger world that they had created, and therefore through the eyes of a Citadel agent who had infiltrated Manticore, but unfortunately was trapped behind enemy lines for 8 years.
Yeah, for sure. And you definitely see that. You see that there's this through line connection, but still kind of making its own thing. And I love the fact that obviously the show takes place much further in the future. And because of that, you have so many different things that you're allowed to explore within. And I think, Matilda, for yourself, your character has a very unique look, but also a very unique story. And I just love what she's wearing, her hair, everything about it is just so different from what we're kind of seeing. So how much input did you kind of have to make Diana who she is in terms of her mannerisms, in terms of how she looks and everything else?
Well, I think, first of all, she's a double agent, right? So she's infiltrated. So as I try to think, how would I be as an infiltrated, you know? So I would try to imitate the environment. So we try to, you know, mix myself, you know? And so that was the starting point, you know, from my perspective. But also, I had fun, you know, also in acting and in performing Diana, because most of the time I had to hide what I was feeling, even from the audience. I mean, the audience will know what Diana is feeling, but they'll know she's showing something completely different. So I think that was interesting and challenging for me as an actress. And I don't know if I answer your question, but that's what popped
that's
into
perfect.
my
And
head.
it's an understanding of that character, right?
Yeah, it's such a complex character, you know. So it's difficult to talk about her because she's so many things. She's so many things.
And what does fight preparation look like for you? Because I remember when I spoke with Priyanka Chopra Jonas last year about it, she had a very interesting take on what fight preparation looked like for her. But I'm curious for yourself, how did you kind of get in that mindset? What was training looking like for you?
Well, training was very, very, very fun. I have a past as a gymnast because I used to do gymnastic artistic from the age of 4 to the age of 14, actually. So it was a flashback of my old training when I was little and growing up. And I remember the sweat and the fatigue and that feeling of being so, happy while doing it. So for me, it was a challenge, but also the fun part. And what's actually more scary is, the gun part and and the parkour, which is something that I was completely blind of. And but yeah, and on set is actually way more easier because you do it bit by bit, so it's not that complicated. It's a dance after all. You learn a choreography. I spent 4 months training like 3 times a week for I don't know many hours. So I was pretty much ready when it came to shoot.
I love that. That's amazing. I mean, you can definitely tell that you're kicking a lot of ass in the show, so we're really excited to see it more.
Yeah.
And although I think the world is definitely ready for more Citadel, Diana. So thank you so much, both of you, for your time, and I can't wait for the show to come out so the world can experience it.
Lovely meeting you. Bye.